Okay, pork.
Here we are.
I just like saying pork.
Yes, well, please take one step to your right away from me. Yes, as the Australian Pork Commission once said, get some pork on your fork. It is the other white meat, and we're going to talk about how the best ways to cook it are for today.
The thing about pork is it always used to be kind of not the right choice because it was like fatty or people, you know.
Yeah, it was the grandmother's meat. It was kind of like tripe and onions, pork, you know, always really fatty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for people that were kind of like, pork, if I kind of, you know, got the little love handle thing, not a good choice. But actually, it's really different now, isn't it? It's changed.
Pork farming has changed. I can tell you from experience right now. Pork nowadays is actually 70% less fat than what it was 10 years ago. Oh. They've changed the feed, they've changed the way they treat them, they've found out that they're actually cleaner than humans, all that sort of politically correct pork now is what you're eating, pretty much.
So no more fat pigs.
No more fat pigs at all. So today we're going to cook three different types of pork. Just to mix it up a little.
Yeah, and they're all really easy to do on the grill, right?
Yeah. What are they?
We have today three things. We have a pork tenderloin, which we're going to chop up for kebabs. My favorite, spare ribs. And pork chops.
Yeah.
They kind of look like little baby porterhouses or T-bones.
They do a bit. Yeah. Well, let's get right into it. I think we might start off with some ribs.
Ooh, yeah, let's get into it. Let's cook some ribs.
Ribs. Okay.
Ribs. This is probably one of a good example of like the real old barbecuing technique.
Good old fashioned.
You could have ribs that are cooked for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Which are awesome, but
that's just slightly ridiculous.
Unless you're in jail or something and coming out later that week.
That is true.
Not so handy. So we're gonna do actually a slightly compressed timeline, about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
2 hours?
But you're still gonna get that really great barbecue, you know, like that tender, they just peel off the bone and they're kind of just, ooh. Awesome. So here are our ribs, and they look fabulous. We got 2 racks. The big thing with pork, and especially these ribs, is they want a low heat over that long period of time, an hour and a half to 2 hours. So.
And indirect as well.
And indirect heat, not over the direct flame. That's going to give it that great tender, because there's bone in there. And it's going to take a little bit of time to cook.
You just got to prep them properly, stick them on the grill, indirect heat.
Now we're going to spice them up with salt and pepper. Hey! But there's actually, you can see this sort of white, fatty membrane, actually it is, that covers the backside of the ribs. Now if you leave that on there, all it's going to do is prevent any seasoning or barbecue sauce you put on there from getting in. It's just like, it's like a film, it's like a sealant.
It's a natural sealant. So you're going to peel off this membrane.
Now this is a bit goofy and it's hard to do.
Stand back.
And it can be messy, but so all you want to do, you got to get that membrane off. So make a little cut just at one of the rib edges to get it started. You want to get just the tip of the knife just underneath that membrane just to get it started. It's almost like peeling off a sticker that's something you bought a used car. You just
used to be trendy, but now, no. I believe Scott did say sometimes it's really easy to peel off. Really easy. This is not one of those times.
One more crack at it.
But that's cool. Like, we're freestyling.
We're freestyling. We're having it.
We're trying it out. This is the first time I've actually tried it. And I'm not lying.
Well, Bob, you know, we got to stop with there. I got to jump in here. I mean, they're going on and on and on. Are they going to get to a freaking point or what?
I don't think so, Bob. I think the point of this whole unit is to basically waste time. I think all they want to do is just provide...
It's like DVD filler.
That's right. It's just... We may as well cut to the girls. Let's cut to the girls, for God's sakes. I mean, the girls are better looking than these chumps, and it looks like they know what better to do.
I know what the heck is going on. I mean, you got to have like a script or something. You would think there's a freaking writer on the show. Or maybe not. Maybe they're just winging it, pulling stuff out of their ass.
Well, you sure know how to hit the nail right on the head.
Well, anyways, I can't get much worse, so let's go back down to barbecue level and watch and see if it just goes totally down the dumper.
Okay. A little bit, we get the idea. Okay, see it's starting to come?
Ah!
Yeah, see you getting a little bit soft.
Bogus. That was bogus arousal, if ever I've seen it. I thought he had it. He was like, here we come. Here. Oh.
I'm going to work at this. This might take a while.
Okay.
Why don't you go prep the grill?
Good idea, Scott.
We'll get that done. And I'll just be messing around back here.
Over to the barbecue. As we said before, this is an indirect grilling technique method sort of shenanigans. So, we've got our barbecue. It's been preheating. If you'll have a look in here, guys. If you come in, I've put the trays in. Now, you don't have to do this. I'm doing this purely because there's a fair bit of fat on these ribs. But it's basically, by having the trays in, you're just going to prevent that extra bit of build-up, and it's going to sort of stops your barbecue from turning uber manky. So these two side elements are on, full, and these ones are off. So there's no heat coming out of there. It's just sort of convexing around in there. When Scott's finished prepping them, I'll show you how to put them on there, and then it's pretty much a set and forget. Bung it on and get out of here.
Okay, I've kind of given up on the whole membrane removal thing, but actually this one wasn't that bad. I got most of it off. Sometimes it comes off in one big sheet, or sometimes you're just like picking off bits forever. So we're gonna do vegetable oil.
I've actually called in air support to try and put on the pepper.
Incoming pepper! I'll do the high angle because Craig did that.
Copycat.
It's raining pepper! Now the barbecue sauce, we're not gonna put on now. That's actually one of the very last things we'll do, because if you put it on now, it's just gonna all burn.
Oh, that's true.
You know, you don't wanna put it on now. Actually, that's really for about the last 10 minutes.
That's right. A lot of people make this mistake. If you slosh on the barbecue sauce before you put it on, that's going to be the first thing to burn, the first thing to turn into carbon, and it actually prevents the ribs from cooking properly. You put the barbecue sauce on right last minute. I mean, you know, most barbecue sauces you buy nowadays, you can just put it on like last. You don't even have to cook it.
No, yeah.
So, yeah.
Just a little bit of flavor. Just enough to burn it a little bit.
Remember that. Okay. So, time to put them on the grill. If you guys remembered before, I'd set up my grill already. Now, these need to go rib side down. When I say rib side, I mean as in the concavity. You like that word? So, kind of, the concavity is up. There she blows. Now, notice there was no sizzle, there was no real flare, it's not very spectacular. Now, we've just put those on, close the lid, resist the temptation to have a look every now and again. As long as the temperature stays up to 350 degrees, they can stay on for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now, right at the last minute, flip them up, put barbecue sauces on both sides. So that's the only time you flip them. You actually don't have to flip them at all. A good way to tell when they're almost done is when the meat starts getting very tender and pulling away from the end of the bones. Now's the time to slap on the barbecue sauce. Give the top side of the ribs a good basting with your sauce and close the lid. After about 5 minutes, flip them over, baste the other side and cook for another 5 minutes. Then you are done. Since they've been cooked low and slow, you can serve these ribs right off the grill. There's no need to let the meat rest like a steak. Ta-dum! They look great. And that's ribs, pretty much. 1.5 to 2 hours, bit of barbecue sauce on the end. There you go. Tickety-boo.